we have some work to do with them, but just the tenor that got set by the school was different this year. And I know why. It's nothing to do with us, but we still have to pull it up. We don't have pre-trials, right? Yay. Here comes. Wow, no one's connecting yet. Good morning. I'm Judge Person. You'll be on mute briefly, but I'll unmute when it's your turn. I actually am seeing people's audio connecting kind of slowly but surely. We don't have a lot of people today, but I did want to make sure we tended to things. I apologize for the late start. I did not realize my whole system had been shut down, and it took a while to get it all back up and running. So I've been a little frantic trying to catch up. I apologize for the late start, and thank you for your patience. So I am Judge Person. I welcome everybody to court this morning. I want to give some basic information, although I'm going to check the docket real quickly. Yeah. And just kind of see what people are here for. And I know I see, let's see. Person labeled Irving, can you unmute and just tell me who you are?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Irvin Ceniceros.
Okay, great. I thought that was probably you, but I just wanted to double check. And then I'll remute you, but I'll be with you shortly. I also have, let's see, Philippa Hicks is here. Great. And it looks like your audio got connected. That's perfect. Let's see. And then I have Dakota Sotelo. And then thank you so much. And I'll be right back with you. And I'm going to get people on screen when it's their turn. I used to be a real stickler about it, but honestly, sometimes these meetings take a little while. So I understand just wanting to, relax. I do have a question. Is anyone here with Savannah Riggs? Okay, that person is not here. I don't see them. So I'll do what I need to do about that. Okay, I just want to walk through a few things. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods for accusing someone. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or response to that accusation. The options for pleading are guilty, not guilty, no contest. Guilty means I did this. Not guilty means I'm contesting this. No contest means I'm not contesting or admitting. I just want to move forward. If you plead guilty or no contest, I'm going to move forward into sentencing. That normally means payment of fines and costs, having the item go on your record. I'm going to talk to you more about both of those in just a moment. If you plead not guilty, ultimately, the state has the burden of proof. We have that phrase in our culture, the who has the burden of proof. The state has the burden of proof. And so when you plead not guilty, you're putting them on notice that you're demanding a trial. And we'll just start heading in a trial direction. And that docket sometimes meets online by agreement. It's a contested docket. So we normally do that in the courtroom, but that docket is not meeting today. So I'm going to really move my remarks to the other set of possibilities. And one thing to understand is until a court accepts your plea, you're not found guilty. So if you're scheduled for this meeting and you just entered a plea, I'm probably talking to you about that. If there was a previous plea entered, because everybody's kind of at a different phase in things. If a plea was entered, previously, then we're just working on sentences, and maybe the sentence isn't working right. Something didn't work and we're trying to talk about it. If you plead guilty or no contest, though, and I'm accepting your plea for the first time, I want to talk to you just briefly about the options that are available. I can't give legal advice. Now, legal advice is really applying the law to your case and telling you what you should do. I can tell you what we do here, and I can do if-then type of scenarios. So if you plead guilty, I find you guilty, and it goes on your record, subject to 4 possibilities that you could remove it. If you plead no contest, it's going to work the same way. So let me talk to you a little bit about those if-then facts, okay? Payment. The law presumes that we can pay. So I ask people for income information. I even do that if you're pleading not guilty, because on those cases, I have to schedule a bond. On your case, because I don't think anyone here is contesting the charge, I didn't look that deeply because I'm going to do that with you. In the case of guilty or no contest, really what is happening there is I'm just looking to see what's appropriate. And there are some options. You automatically can have 30 days to pay. Okay, no, that's okay. I just wasn't sure if you were showing me that. Sorry, I'm working a couple of screens. You can have 30 days to make payment. If you need more time, I can usually work that out with you. If you have warrants, it's a little bit tighter of a constraint because we already have someone not showing up. That's how you get a warrant in this type of court. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But I will work with you because you're here, and I'll do what I can do. Okay, it's just there's a little narrower, threading a narrower needle, but we can usually get where we need to get to. If I need to do adjustments to the situation, I will. Those kinds of adjustments would include reductions that are generally need-based, or sometimes people qualify to do community service instead. And I'm just going to be looking at that purely from a legal standpoint and seeing if it's appropriate under the law. Now, that's payment. It's issues, and that's what a judge should be doing. So I'll be doing that. When we look at whether people are found guilty on a plea of guilty or no contest, in a Class C court, which this is, there are 4 options for gaining a dismissal. I'm going to tell you what they're called, and then I'm going to just briefly tell you how they work. And then you can watch me work with each person with what's appropriate for that person. So compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court are all methods that we have under the law for gaining a dismissal, even though we've pled guilty or no contest and we're subject to having it go on our record. Compliance dismissals are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. I will tell you if you have something like that. I do want to let you know that I'll be looking to see if that's an option. It's driven by, first, the type of charge, like a broken, defective item on your vehicle, for example, like a broken blinker or a tail light, and you're cited for that tail light being out. You can come to court on time. It's a requirement with proof that it's repaired, and pay a $10 to $20 dismissal fee on those. I'll be automatically looking because that law says the judge shall do so upon, and I assume that, if anyone knew, they would want that. So I just take that lead, although you are welcome to ask about it when it's your turn. Moving violations can be dismissed through a driver safety course. With the driving safety course, it's a bit of a price break, and it keeps it off your record. Let me explain. When you get a ticket, let's say a ticket for like running a stop sign, and you have a ticket that's probably running around 265 or something in that neighborhood, and you call the clerk and you say, how much is this ticket? And they go 265, and you're like, wow, that's a lot. Okay, so let's break that number down for a brief moment. There are fines and costs. So about 150, give or take, it depends on the type of charge, but about $150 is going to be a court cost. The remaining amount that is not a court cost is technically called a fine. Now, you can break that number down a bunch of other ways. There's all kinds of, I'm not going to bore you to pieces with this, but that money, when we send it to Austin, those court costs, they go different places to different accounts with the state. The fines stay local. They don't pay the court, and they don't pay the police. They pay for streets and roadways and things like that. So, it goes to the public ultimately in a roundabout way. But in the driving safety course option, you pay just the court cost, which is where I say there's a bit of a savings. So you pay the court cost, about $150, let's just say for right now. The fine, which is the other like 100, 110, it goes on hold. As the judge, I just put it on hold. And then you have a window to take the course. It's got to be the right course for this court, and get your driving record, got to be the right record, turn it in on time, and you get a dismissal of the charge. And when I sign the dismissal, I simultaneously waive the remaining balance. The record is going to run you about $10 to $15. The course is going to run you about $50. You're still going to be cheaper by anywhere from $40 to $80, sometimes even up to $100 cheaper if you qualify and you successfully complete that program. You save money and it keeps it off your record. But you can't just do it like every month, right? It's every 12 months, dating from the last time you took it to the next time you get a ticket. So I just want to let you know about that program. I will tell you, if you have something that qualifies within that process, it's a strong possibility that, I'll be talking to you about it and just kind of urging you a little to just check in and make sure that you're waiving it intentionally. If you say you don't want to do it, I'm not going to force you because I can't. But there is incentive, and we have that incentivization under the law because those courses, when we take them, we actually drive a little bit better. And believe it or not, everyone who's given a moving violation moves into a higher risk bracket for death and dismemberment on Texas roadways. And depending on your age, we are the #1 state for this problem. And so they do incentivize in order to try to, move that needle back. And the statistics on that are good. The needle does move back when you take that course, by and large. Okay, not every single person, but statistically, generally speaking, yeah, it does help. So they've kept that in the law, which I think is good. As a judge, I like to see that because I'm very interested in traffic safety, believe it or not. Okay, so I'll review in short what to expect. I'll review that and I'll be pushing a little bit if it looks to me like you might be qualified, but you're welcome to ask about it because it's your case. The third one is called a deferred disposition. Deferred is a term that means delay. Like I defer, I'm not doing that yet. I delay finding you guilty. I put an order in place. That order will list the things that are needed on paper so that you have a list and you know what to do. The list will tell you what your responsibility is for gaining a dismissal. So in a deferred situation, the way that works is you must request it from the judge, and the judge must approve it in order for you to have that option. When the judge approves it, the judge can impose anything in that order that is rational under the law to do. They can increase your fine. They can require a class. They can require a record. There's just a lot of different things and different judges are different about this. But I defer finding you guilty. I put an order in place. It lists what you need to do. I like to get your signature on it so that I know that you received the notice about it. You sign it, then I sign it. And if you do the things listed, I've committed to signing a dismissal. In other words, if I grant a deferred and you do everything you're supposed to, I'm bound to not say, well, I've changed my mind. Okay, so that's how that works. But you have to request it at the time that you enter a plea. In a Class C court, you can ask the judge directly in a setting like this one or here in the courtroom. And the judge, when asked, must consider it and, must give it his or her full attention and then give an answer. Now, we're not required to explain that answer. So it's a thumbs up or down. If you're contesting your charge and you and the prosecutor agree to a deferred, you can also ask the judge. And that agreement comes in as an agreement between the two people, the two parties. We're not going to see any of that today because that prosecutor's not here today. Okay, so that's how a deferral would work. And then the final option, if you will, is teen court. And with teen court, you do have to be a student. You do have to be, enrolled in school. And, the way that works is I'll start pushing. It'll look a little like a deferred. There'll be things for you to do. But if you do them, you gain a dismissal. And it's a preferred option because it's the most successful option in terms of either people committing another offense or getting, injured or injuring someone else on the roadway. So we really I mean, it's highly favored. So those are the 4 ways to gain a dismissal in a Class C court. If you plead on a plea of guilty or no contest, if you plead not guilty, the prosecutor sometimes will dismiss. I wouldn't count on that, but I can't commit that person one way or another. I'm not sure that we have anybody that's applying to today. Okay, let's get back on camera. And while y'all are doing that, I'm just going to make a quick check. Oh, there it is. I've been looking for age. Yeah, because, well, some people have to take a course and stuff like that. I'm just used to it being in a certain place. Does it give current age? Or is it just age at offense? Age at offense is almost not even helpful. Yeah, I mean, it's really a general question. Well, okay, no one's getting on screen. I don't know if y'all are here. Let me start with Mr. Cisneros. Cisneros. There we go. Can you get where I can see you? Because it's just a blur. Okay, hi. I'm Judge. Good morning. Let's see. So let's just talk about this charge. The charge here is August 27th, 2023. The accusation is a theft charge. You're back to blurry. Can you move a little closer?
There you go.
I'd like to interact. Otherwise, it's a phone call's not going to work out too well. It's not as good. I did read the information that you supplied for me. Hidden in my compliance dismissal, there is a type of option available for those who have a first-time theft offense, which, as long as you're on time, which you're on time today, you're eligible for. And the way that would work is I would reschedule your case for a different day. I would not accept your plea yet. I would schedule you for a month from today, which is a little bit more than a month. It would be October 26th here online. Is that right?
No, that's on the 26th is actually online.
Okay. What's the next online after that? It's going to be like 31st. October 31st. And then I would give you information for how to take an online intervention class in theft intervention. You would complete it at your own expense. You would turn it in before that due date. I would look in your file that due date, and if it's in your file, I would dismiss the charge. You wouldn't pay the $296. It would off your record. And basically, this is an agreement that I have with the city's prosecutor. We both agree that this is the best way to handle first offenses, because folks who complete that course are much less likely to commit another theft. And, it's really important service, I think, in the community that we do this for the simple fact that folks who commit thefts, if they can have early intervention, like right now, it ruins your options in the future. If you have a theft charge in your record, there's a lot of career options, specifically career options in this community, like medically and law enforcement related. You can't do any of them. So we would like to get your attention. You're on time, so I think we already have. And, we would need to have you sign today a reset and pick up the information for your class. And so that's going to be my question, is what time today can you swing by the clerk's desk and get the information and sign for it? Because if you can do that, we can figure out, we can work out, and then I just give you a list of places that offer that, that class, and you pick what you want to do, and they're online. And once you get it done, you turn it in. You don't have to wait till the due date. And, we sign a dismissal over here. I do. Are you interested in keeping it off your record?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So right now I won't accept your plea, but I will on October 31st. So if you're not done, if something prevents you from getting this done, you're logging in so we can have a discussion. Don't just wave it and walk away. Okay. Because if you blow it off, it's a problem. Okay. So what time can you be here today?
Definitely before 2 o'clock, because I have work at 2. So maybe 11.
Okay, that's fine.
And is it this spot I went to go pick up the paper from last time?
Yeah, the same place that you came before, where you
Okay.
filled out the papers, that will be, what you do is come by the same exact place and, we'll have everything at the window.
Okay.
You'll review it quickly. If you have questions, a clerk can answer basic questions. If the question is more complex and they need to talk to me about it, they can route it to me. But generally doesn't happen. It's pretty straightforward. And then you take the information, you go find a course based on the information we provide you, get it done, get it turned in, and a dismissal happens and you save $296 and you keep it off your record.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you around 11 at the clerk's window.
Okay.
Once you get here, it'll only take you about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any questions before you go?
No, ma'am.
You're good to hang up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm letting in a late person and I'm just gonna let them in and I'll talk to them in a moment. If I could though, have Philippa Hicks unmute and tell me how you're doing today.
I'm doing well, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Just kind of looking at everything. Let's see. The accusation is an assault by contact against a family member. The fines and costs are $296. And actually, you pleaded no contest. And I'm just looking at everything real quickly. A couple of things I'm noticing, and really the biggest one is that you were already arrested. And therefore, I can time serve this. Okay, so I'm going to time serve, which will zero out the balance of this offense. I'm accepting your plea and I am entering a finding of guilt, but I'm zeroing out your balance. Do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. How can I get that to where it's not on my record?
Okay, so there is a route to do that, but I do require that the prosecutor weigh in on it because he has contact with the victim. Yeah, we do call it a victim at this point because the plea is no contest. But generally speaking, he will come back with a request for just like online anger management, something like that. So we back up and I don't accept your plea today. Okay. What I do is schedule you to just come in and have a conversation with him on his next available court date, which right now is going to be October 12th, October 12th. And I'll put a note in the file that I would approve a deferred provided he is, not an objection to it. I'm going to tell you generally, I've not seen him object to it as long as everybody's in agreement. And that is not to say that the victim dictates. Okay. They don't. They just need to be made aware. Okay. They have the right to be made aware of it. And then the prosecutor comes in with what they think is appropriate. And, I usually listen to both you and him at that point. And, we see where we can get to. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we would need to back up. No problem to do that. Right now, I'm not going to accept your plea and time serve it, but I can do that at a later time. But I have a strict agreement. It's more my comfort level because there's a whole section of the code book that says victims have rights. And it's not appropriate for a judge, before I knew whether I'm even accepting your plea, to call that victim and weigh in and find out their story. I don't know their story. I'm not an investigative person. That's not the role that a judge should ever be playing. It's the role of police departments to do that. So the prosecutor is connected to that police department in a way that I am appropriately not. So I'm real strict about ethics and rules, and because here it matters. It has to do with your rights and mine too. In the end, I feel like if I don't protect your rights, then I don't have them either. That's just how I view that. So let's back up and schedule. Can we do a pre-trial with you here live at 9 a.m. or 8:45, October 12th? It's a Thursday.
Let me see, because I'm usually off Monday, Tuesdays from my job. 'Cause I
Can't,
work at the hospital.
I can't accommodate that.
Okay, that's okay.
We have
And
in
you said what day? October 12th?
yes, at 8:45. And you
Yes, ma'am.
probably need to plan to be here for the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just making notes. Okay, so great. I just need your signature on this reset. If I email it to you, can you print it, sign it, and email it back to us today?
Yes, ma'am. That or I can go down and down there if
That's
you need me
easier
to.
because then you get an official copy. What time can you be here?
Within the next hour. Within
Okay,
the next hour.
perfectly fine. Let's say by around 10:30 or 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see you then at the window, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then if I could, Dakota Sotelo.
Sotelo.
Sotelo, great. Let's see. So there's a no insurance charge. It's alleged from August 21st. The fines and costs are $281. I did receive a plea of no contest from you. And I did also take note that in your particular case, the appropriate thing would be for me to order community service. If I do that, it would be, let me just double check the number. It would be 14 hours of community service. I would give you 30 days to complete that, which is October 26th in this case. I have a list of places where you can do the work. They include offices with the city of Temple. You're not required to work with them. They're one of choices, but the reason I'm highlighting that is that they require a waiver be signed in order to be on my list. And since they provide so many opportunities, I agree to do that. So I'll need a signature on that today, and I'll give you a list of places. I don't have any great ones in Killeen, although we have had some people turning in and we have pre-approved. We'd still have to pre-approve it with you to make sure they're approving you because they haven't officially asked to be on our list. But Helping Hands has helped some folks out. And also the Habitat for Humanity sometimes has helped folks out over there. They have a store front over there. So those are maybe some options over there. If I email you, well, I call it the packet, the community service packet, what it would have in it is a timesheet to keep track of your hours. There would be a page following that would show you like the date for a pre-approval of anything that isn't already on my list. Then there will be a list of rules that you need to make sure you follow so that you don't knock yourself out. Like sometimes people do all the work and turn it in. They violated a rule, and it's not because I don't like it. It's because the law doesn't let me accept it. So I just spell that out. And as long as you read it, it's real clear. It's things like if somebody's supervising you and they're your family member, that's not okay. If you're getting paid, that's not okay. I would caution you if you have hours due somewhere else for some other entity, probably don't mix them. I've not had a problem with it, but I've had other places have a problem with it, and then they get crosswise with somebody else. Okay. And then I give you a list of places that are already pre-approved. And if you use that list, it's good to go. If there's something different that you want to do, there's a deadline of the first 2 weeks so that we know you're not going to wind up wasting your own time. So any objection to that before I move forward and make that order?
I suppose I'm just looking at my options.
Yep.
I did, however, get my insurance, and I'm actually in the middle of registering the truck. I was up there for doctor's appointments. I have lupus and fibromyalgia.
Oh, goodness.
So I'm trying to make sure that I have my options done. I'm
Okay.
currently unemployed and whatnot, so I'm just trying to make sure. where I can head off into.
Yeah, let me ask you a question just about that. How quickly did you get the insurance?
I literally got it yesterday, in fact, because I've been trying to save up since I couldn't get my truck registered without the insurance. I have my little receipt right here saying that I did pay for my insurance. And I, however, am going to actually today go get it registered with the insurance. I was actually going to do that yesterday because I got all the money in on Sunday. And when I went to go register, the office was closed. And I was like, I could have had it done before I got into court, but that's okay.
That's okay. So I'm sort of hearing you hint at this, and I just want to clarify, are you requesting a deferral to keep the item off your record?
I suppose so. If I'm understanding correctly, I think that's what I'm possibly looking for.
Yeah, okay. I'll grant that request. Let me make a
I
note.
appreciate it.
Make it.
I appreciate that. I've been kicked down so many times, and I'm like, you know what? I got this. Just go in, keep going, keep pushing forward. Like you said, there's no reason to put things aside and then let it get
Yeah,
off track.
I can't tell you how many people do, but it's a lot. So, so kudos. Don't do that. It hurts
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I've got ADHD, so it makes it harder to not forget things.
Certainly, I'm familiar. So Texas law does not have any exception, like you got it after the fact, so you dismiss it.
Mhm.
It's for the simple fact that if you wreck, that there's
Yeah.
insurance coverage to cover that
Right.
wreck. I don't think there was a wreck here, if so, you weren't faulted. But so the way that I do the insurance deal is the first time I see someone, which is the case here, and they request a deferred, I grant it. I'm not saying I don't grant it later. I'm saying I probably get a sharper tool in terms of how I think about it. But from today, what it would look like is from today until January 25th, you would be on a deferred disposition. And I'm ordering that you prove insurance. And that can be, I'm actually going to say, you don't need to turn it in until you turn in your community service. Because why make two trips? And
Right.
you're welcome to scan it and send it over. That's fine. But if you want to bring it by, the due date is October 26th. And your community service, which is how your quote pay, is also due October 26th for the insurance and for the hours. Okay. Because, again, I actually hear you. Too many irons in the fire creates conflict, and I'm not looking for that. So everything's due in one day. But it's 14 hours of community service, and that would satisfy payment. Okay. And as long as you don't get any more tickets, citations, or failures to appear, or don't get arrested, it's a good behavior piece. So if you move, you need to tell us.
Okay.
But the duty you have is refrain from offenses. Don't move without telling us, and get your coverage proof to us by October 26th, and your community service to us. The one thing we have to figure out though right now is how to get your signature on this deferral. I can email it to you, and you can print it and sign it and email it back, or you can come by the court. There's a number of papers you're going to be needing to get picked up today, or printing at home to sign and send back. Do you want to swing by, or?
Since I live in Killeen and I know the municipal courts in Temple, can they be sent over in a document file? Because I can actually hand sign from my tablet.
I don't have DocuSign as a program that the
Or
court.
just the documents. I can save the document.
I can email you basically a PDF.
That works.
And
I got that.
as long as it is your signature and not something created by a computer for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not a legally binding thing. But if you're making the motion, then will take it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we will email this to you. There's two documents you're sending back. One is called waiver of privacy and confidentiality and liability. That has to do with if you pick Temple off the list. The other is a deferred document that lists the things that you need to do. The ones that apply to you will be checked off. Okay. But we'll email that to you probably in the next half hour. And I'd like to get it back by lunch if possible.
I can see what happens.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
I think that is all.
Okay. All right. Just remember in Colleen, since I don't have anything on my Colleen list,
Mhm.
the reason for that, it's nothing against Colleen. I used to live over that way. It's that a lot of things just come and go so much that I couldn't keep up.
It's honestly disheartening as the youth that is still trying to come up and whatnot, and especially some of my friends who need programs and whatnot. And it's disheartening to find out that there's not enough here, especially in Killeen with all the military. But all that military turnover means that it's a bit shaky. So
There's a lot there. It's just that to find it, you have to dig because it doesn't have time to take root.
yep, exactly.
Some things have, and I think they've been,
Yeah.
I think they're actively really trying to work on it, but it's just different. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
So you'll see that second page and just remember you're going to have to either get to Belton or Temple or find something there. But like I said, Habitat has helped folks out. Helping Hands has helped folks out. And there's a couple of nonprofit animal places that have helped folks out. And I'm just blanking on the names right now because it's been a minute or two since
Yeah,
I've done this, but you might check around. Okay.
Okay. If when I do I have to like make mention? Do I have to like take them like any packets or like ask if I'm in the system in order to make sure that
Right.
those hours are counted?
Yeah, you do. There's
Okay.
actually, it's like page 2 roughly. And it's called the Community Service Location Approval Request Form.
Okay.
It looks kind of like this. And there's a date that says October 10th. I need it back. And you take this to the place you want to go and they fill it out with you. And
Okay.
they give us their credentials because the main requirement, besides them saying, yes, we'll work with this person, is for them to prove that they are a current nonprofit.
Okay. Alrighty.
That's the deal. Because
Alrighty.
legally I can't accept it otherwise.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. That sounds easy enough.
Any other questions?
I think that is all.
Okay, I just need signatures back today on the deferral and the liability form. And then October 10th is the approval due date.
Alrighty. I'll get to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I had a person log in and they were quite late to court, but I let you in because why not? And I don't know who it is. It's a telephone caller. Can you tell me your name? And by the way, just right now, I'm not hearing you. So I hit you with an unmute request. And that system that you're in, Zoom, it ought to be prompting you how to unmute. Hi.
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Yeah, tell me your name, please.
Savannah Riggs.
Okay, great. Miss Riggs, thank you for being here. I'm Judge Person. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So great. I had waived your community service hours, but I did require that you get a driver's license on this no driver's license charge. And I know you've tried some things to try to get them. I did reset your show cause to today because I knew that you had an appointment with DPS for September 15th to get it. And I had extended your show cause date, which was July 11th, to this September date, which is unusual for me. So I do remember it. Have you been able to get the driver's license?
So I went up there on the 15th. I went on there, I was on time. And for some reason, they were telling me to reschedule. I showed them that I checked in early on my phone, or checked in when I got there, and I showed them that I had an appointment already set up. I had set the appointment up on their system in the building. And they told me that I had to reschedule, and they didn't tell me why I had to reschedule. So I went back into their system to reschedule, and they pushed me back all the way to December 13th.
Wow. Okay. Which DPS department is this? Which town?
The one in Killeen.
Have you tried any other DPS departments that are in other locations, perhaps?
I haven't as of recently because I was told I have to cancel that one and before I can make another one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking is because I'm kind of running out of time, and adding 3 months from what ended, the deferral ended. Gosh, when did the deferral end? It ended August 15th. So at this point, your deferral is over, and that's a jurisdictional issue. So I can reschedule you. What did you say was the date?
December 13th at 9:00 in the morning.
I'll tell you, I actually do know why they did reschedule you. Because I got notice about it, that they had something happen and their whole system was shut down, which is sort of the last thing they needed to have happen. Okay, Ms. Riggs, here's what I can do. I can reschedule this show cause for December 14th, but that's an in-person show cause here in the courtroom. Now, if you turn your license in before that date, like you could email it over, that would be acceptable. But if you email it over the day before, which is when you're going to be taking your test, I just need the paper copy. If you email it before, you're going to need to call and make sure that we received it. Okay. Otherwise, you will have to be in the courtroom December 14th.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna try to reschedule somewhere else, maybe Belton or Temple, to see if I can get an earlier date, because I don't want to get to December 13th and then that happens again.
Right. I don't know. I think they had some kind of malware, but I don't really know what happened. Like, I don't work there. I couldn't tell you. What I can do is schedule you for the 14th of December, but I need your signature on this reset. If I email it to you, can you print it and sign it and email it back, or do you need to come over here to sign off on it?
You can send it over to my email. I can print it and have it sent back.
Okay. All right. We'll email it to the email that we used to set up this meeting. Will that work?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would tell you that the people that I've talked to who have been able to successfully schedule it in other places have gone a little more outlier, like the Gatesville area or beyond that. I don't know, but Temple, we're along a corridor, so it's a very popular place to try to do this. But you can check with them. It's up to you. I'm going to schedule you the day after you have this current meeting. But I understand why you're nervous about it. If you can't get it done, though, you're in here in the courtroom. If I don't have that license here in your file and you know that I have it, you need to be here so that we can talk about it further. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And court starts at 8:45. Don't be late.
It starts.
But you figured out. I know you figured out.
I'm just
It
here,
starts at 8:45 on 14th.
here in the building, 8:45.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this morning it started at 9, but I figured it was you and I wanted to talk to you.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get in online, but having some problems with that.
I understand, and I'm not trying to make you embarrassed. I just want to highlight being here early is helpful. And the next meeting is live, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Yes, ma'am. See you then.
Thank you.